Slow loading times and issues with buildings rendering can be a huge problem for PUBG players on old consoles like the PS4 and Xbox One. There is, however, a way you can vastly improve this performance without having to buy a new console, and this can even help players on some of the other last-gen models like the Xbox S and the Xbox One X. Hey everybody, my name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and welcome back to another PUBG console video. Today I'm going to talk you through how you can use an external SSD or solid state drive to improve your game's performance, as well as showing you some before and after footage of PUBG on PS4 and the OG Xbox One. This guide today really helps any game that loads something off of the hard drive on one of these old consoles, but today we are looking specifically at PUBG. If you find this video helpful, then make sure you check out our other PUBG tips and tricks videos, and if you really want to help us out, then please consider using our PUBG creator code, the Beard Guys. I'll put a little thing at the end of the video that tells you how you can do that. So slow rendering of buildings, slow loading into lobbies, slow loading of the game in general is all linked back to the speed that your console can read information off of its hard drive. For the newer consoles like the Xbox Series X and Series S and the PS5, you don't really have these issues as they have built-in SSDs anyway, but the older consoles are reading the game's data off of much older and slower hard drives. By connecting a USB hard drive with a faster rate of transfer on it, you can greatly reduce the likelihood of you seeing any slow rendering issues, as well as making your game's loading speed in general much faster. And it's not just PUBG that this is useful for on old consoles. Other games you install onto an SSD are also likely to benefit at the very least in terms of loading times. The PS4 and Xbox One can both accept USB solid state drives, and they do need to be a minimum of 256GB according to their official specs, but I've tested both with a 250GB drive and it works just fine. In reality, you'd be hard pressed to find a 250GB SSD these days, so the point is kind of redundant, and I've put a list of a few recommended drives for you in the video description down below for both US and UK. Personally, I've been using the Samsung T5 250GB and 500GB over the last few years, but I no longer use them on my main console as I run the Xbox Series X and it doesn't need it. They do still offer speedy extra storage space if I need it, and if I'm using my Xbox One X, then I still use that as it does give a performance increase on PUBG with the SSD. I haven't personally tested the models outside of the Samsung T5 mentioned below, but any half-decent USB SSD that is over 250GB and has a read speed of 500MB a second or more should work just fine. If you have a model that works for you, then please feel free to recommend it in the comment section. So now you've got your new SSD and you want to use it with your console, you'll first need to format it in order to work. Remember that formatting the drive will wipe everything currently on it. On PS4, you need to make sure you plug it into a USB port on the front of your console to get the maximum speed, and then go to Settings, Devices, and then USB Storage Devices, and from there you can select your SSD and follow the on-screen prompts in order to format it if needed. Once the SSD is formatted, you need to go to Settings, Storage, System Storage, and then Applications, and from here you can select PUBG and move it to your extended storage device. If you think you've installed PUBG on your SSD and are not seeing any improvements, then make sure it's definitely only installed on your SSD and that it's plugged into the USB port on the front of your PS4. On Xbox, when you plug in the SSD for the first time, it'll ask you if you want to format it to use as extended storage, so just follow the on-screen prompts and you should be able to then see it by going to your games library and selecting filter and all storage. If you can't see it here, then just unplug it and plug it back in and it should appear right away. To move PUBG onto the SSD, press start on PUBG and then select manage game and add-ons, hit start again on PUBG and select move or copy, then just select it and hit move to move it across. It should then take you to your queue and show it being moved over to the SSD. As with the PS4, once this is done, make sure it's not also still installed on your internal drive and you're definitely running it just from your SSD. As I mentioned earlier, you can chunk any games you like on the SSD and they will likely benefit in some way. I've used it before for stuff like Fallout and big single player games with big load screens, and it usually makes those load tons quicker. So that's about everything you need to know about SSD SSDs and PUBG and consoles in general, using an SSD with PUBG has been standard practice for many years for lots of players, giving them a much better playing experience when dropping in and also helping them load back into the game fast if they crash or disconnect. Hopefully you found that video useful. If you did, then drop a sub to our channel as I have plenty more tips and tricks videos planned for PUBG on console. Thanks very much for watching. My name's Ben, we are the Beard Guys, and I'll see you next time. I just wanted to drop you all a quick message to tell you about our PUBG creator code. As a PUBG partner, we have a creator code which you can add to your account, which means whenever you purchase anything in-game, PUBG will give us a commission. Whether you're buying season passes, G-Coin bundles, or anything else that requires cash in PUBG, if you have our code added, then you'll be helping us out without costing yourself a penny extra. It's a great way to support the channel, and it really does help keep us making PUBG content for you. Plus, it's easy to set up and you'll only ever have to do it once. To add our code, first visit accounts.pubg.com and then log in or create an account. Once you've logged in, connect your Xbox, PlayStation or Steam account on the linked accounts tab, then go to the Creator Appreciation Program section and type the Beard Guys into the box or find us from the drop-down list. Then just click submit and you're all done. A massive thank you to everybody who has used our code. Your support is absolutely vital for us and it really makes a huge difference.